If you think that these two techniques that I have given you are too much for you to do, then I want you to think about how helpless you feel when you can't speak in English. How helpless you feel when you cannot even introduce yourself in English, or even when you can't give a presentation in English, and how your life will transform if you are able to speak fluent English. Hi everyone, my name is Shalima and welcome back to my another session of learning English and improving your English speaking skills with me. So, in today's video, I am going to give you two techniques. Guys, I'll give you two techniques that helped me immensely in my journey of becoming fluent English. So these techniques are absolutely amazing, and if you follow them step by step and exactly as I tell you, then it is definitely going to help you. Alright, so our first step is to build unconscious knowledge. Now what do I mean by unconscious knowledge? Guys, unconscious knowledge is basically the ability to do something without conscious thought. For example, you know how you speak your native language. You don't really have to think about what you are going to say, right? Or say when you drive to work or school without consciously thinking about the route. So unconscious knowledge, when you don't really have to think about what you are doing, when you don't have to focus on it, with enough practice, the skill becomes a habit now. The million trillion questions: how can we acquire unconscious knowledge in English? I'm going to say something controversial here. If you want to acquire unconscious knowledge in English, stop focusing on grammar. Yes, guys, I said, see, the thing is that people who focus on the intricacies of grammar know the grammar rules very well, but when it comes to speaking, you don't really get time to think in the real world. If somebody asks you a question, you immediately have to respond. You don't get time to think the sentence structure, don't get time to think about all these things. The reaction has to be, automatic. And then that is why a lot of people who study grammar and grammar rules are not necessarily fluent in English. Alright, they are not fluent English speaker. So now I am going to tell you how you actually can acquire unconscious knowledge in English. The only steps that you have to follow is listening and watching. Now, see guys, you have to watch the dialogues between people. Okay, you have to listen to the conversation between people. So what you are going to do is, when you wake up in the morning and you are getting ready for work or go to school, what you are gonna do is you are play something in the background in English. You don't have to focus on it, just let it play so that your subconscious mind can pick up the expressions and the words and just store it. Alright, there. Now this advice of people who say that they don't have a lot of time to practice. See guys, when you are commuting, when you are going from one place to another place, or when you are sitting at home after a long day having dinner, instead of playing something to entertain yourself in your native language, so do one thing, play something in English. Alright, it can be your favorite YouTuber, they have to have good English. That's the only criteria. It can be any talk show. Okay, you don't even have to focus on all the words. You don't even have to focus on the dialogues, the expressions and anything. Now, if you are going to ask me how listening without consciously paying attention to it, it's going to help you to learn English. all right, then think about how you learn your native language, guys. When you were a kid, okay, when you were a kid, how is it that the first word you spoke were in your native language? Like mine are Hindi, okay. My Hindi is a native language, all right, not in French nor not in Spanish. It is because you were listening your parents and the people around you speak to you in that language as a kid, right? So you were not consciously paying attention and hanging on to each and every word and each and everything they said, but your brain subconsciously, registered all the information and stored it, all right. And that is exactly what will happen with English name. The reason why people, the children who grow up in the states of America, they speak an American accent. The children who grow up in the United Kingdom, they speak in the British accent, right? And so on so forth, is because of listening. So by listening, you don't just grasp the expressions and the vocabulary, right? So you also grasp the accent and the dialect and the voice intonation, and that is why it is crucial to listen and watch, okay. And I'm not just saying this, I genuinely used to listen to something in English for 20 minutes at least every day, all right. I just used to put on my earphones whenever I had a time, okay, and I used to listen to something in English, and that helped me a lot with my accent, my pronunciation and the expressions, and that in turn helped me in becoming fluent in English. Now moving to our second step, our guys. Second technique is output based learning. Yes, listening and watching is what we call input based learning, all right, because that is something our brain is storing, and it's the information that our brain is storing inside. That is not enough to speak fluent English. You will know the words, you will know the expressions and everything. I know you know everything about English. You have to output based learning in order to become fluent. Now output based learning means speaking and writing, guys. So what is it that you have to do in output based learning? What I did was, after listening to a podcast or after watching a show or a movie or a speech, I used to open the video on my phone and I used to talk to my phone as if it was another person, okay, and I was just explaining the whole thing to it. And if you don't want to talk about anything that you have watched, then you can pick a random topic and talk on it, okay, for around 1 to 2 minutes. It can be 5 minutes, it can be like, it's up to you, all right. And it can be your favorite food, it can be your least favorite place that you have visited, or any XYZ, all right. I made sure to record the whole thing. Of course, it was on a video, and I made sure to use the expression and the word that were coming to my mind, all right. And I did not at the time know the meaning of all those words and the expressions that I was using, or whether it was right or wrong, but I used to use them, all right, anyway. And after that, I used to look it up on Google or in a dictionary. Sometimes I have Oxford dictionary, so I can just look at in the dictionary in the back day and what that particular expression or word meant. And if I had used it incorrectly, I used to just write it down, the expression. And I had a diary at that time, and I was just writing down all the words, whatever I learned the word, all right. And I just write down the expression and the correct meaning of that particular expression and word. Now I know that I'm going to get a lot of messages from people saying that if they don't have someone to correct them, then how do they know what that they are learning? See, the thing is that, guys, if you do if you can afford to pay for platforms, like there are different platforms, okay, there are many apps. I'm not going to take the names of that apps, but still there are apps, there are platforms where you get the something that I don't really know. My point that is, if you can afford to pay for these platforms, you can search, okay, you will get it, and then you should definitely do it, because having someone to correct you is the fastest way to learn, and okay, and to improve. But I did not do that. I didn't do that, guys. When I started, I was in a school, and so I did not want to spend a lot of money on the courses, and well, honestly, there were not as many courses available back in the days, or apps available back in the days. But my point is that if you can do that, if you want to do that, then you should definitely go for it and buy. All right, but I'm suggesting you don't buy anything. You can improve your English by yourself if you want. If you cannot do that, then I'm saying is repeating, listening and recording yourself always helps, guys. And I would like to share you one more thing. I just upload a video like 4 or 5 days back, that is like 30-day English study plan. This is the actual study plan which I followed in my days. Alright, if you want, you can watch that video, so you will get the idea like how you have to improve your English. Alright, and let's come back to the point, guys. Buy anything, any courses. So I'm again repeating myself, like you have to listen and record yourself, always helps you. Because see, the thing is that if you listen to something enough, if you are listening to English enough, it is bound to happen that certain words and expressions are going to be repeated in our mind, and you are going to pay attention to that over a time. So yes, this process will take a little longer probably, because you don't have anybody to correct you, but that doesn't mean that you won't reach your goal. All right, now another thing that I used to do that worked really well for me, and was to observe people around me who had better communication skills. All right, you can observe your manager, you can observe your colleagues, you can observe your teacher, or you can observe your friend, anybody around you. When they are talking, you just consciously have to listen to the things that they are saying and pay attention to it. All right, guys, that's it for today's video, guys, and don't forget to watch that video. I'll just share a link in my description box. Also, you can just check the playlist. All right, there is a playlist named study plan. Okay, so you can go and check that video, you can watch that video. If you will get the help, please let me know in the comment section. So if you are new on my channel, and if you don't subscribe till now, so subscribe my channel for more videos. So that's it for today's video, guys. If you like the video, please give thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe my channel. So thanks for watching, and see you in next video. Bye bye.